What's up, chills? It's Langston Too Live back with another reaction, and we got something that is mind blowing. The buy now, pay later bubble is now about to explode. Back in the day, we used to have this thing called layaway. Well, no, layaway has now been taken away from us. We're in a time where people aren't paying their credit cards off. They're not paying. People can't even pay their student loans off. So if you can't pay your student loans off, why do I think that you'll be able to pay for that car in the next couple of years? You can't pay for your child's daycare. Why do I think that you'll be able to pay that that trips to Turks off on this car? Oh, no, not even the trip. Let's just say the clothes that you buy to get to your trip. Because everybody got to buy clothes before they go on a trip to go see people that ain't never seen the clothes that they ever wore before. Right? We be buying clothes for trips just to take a photo in it. That's really like, come on, let's be honest, y'all. That'd be the real reason people buying these clothes. It ain't because they trying to look good for the people that ain't never seen them before. Y'all trying to look good for Instagram. Y'all ain't fooling nobody. Buy now, pay later bubble is about to explode. Let's check it out.
For at checkout and that $200 jacket suddenly becomes just $50? You're part of a $500 billion debt bubble that's starting to crack. The stores you shop at are seeing their profit margin shrink just to let you split the payment. So they add to prices across the board. That's a hidden tax on every single thing you buy. You should stop calling that a free payment plan because everyone's paying for it. One of the key BNPL players lost $99 million last quarter. Another one burned through $1.3 million every single day last year. 3 other companies collapsed in the last year. OpenPay left merchants with $18.2 million in losses. Laybuy's failure hit 4,200 businesses. When Kiwi Bank faced $30 million in exposure from just one BNPL company, they realized this isn't sustainable. The way you pay for everything is about to dramatically change because what started as a clever way to afford things has become a financial time bomb. And you need to understand
I feel like people don't, it just come down to people not caring about their credit score. That's all that comes down to. People don't care about the credit score like they want. If I can actually get what I want and have to worry about it later, and then it goes into claims or gets, you know, and I still don't have to worry about it, I feel like eventually, bro, they're gonna crack down on garnishing checks. They're gonna have to figure out a way to garnish people's checks for certain things. That's gonna be a
before it
sad day
explodes.
when people can't afford their rent because
Buy
they had
now, pay later
credit
didn't
card.
appear by accident. It emerged from a perfect storm of financial crisis, technology, and changing consumer behavior. The 2008 financial crisis fundamentally changed how banks viewed consumer credit. Credit card approvals plummeted. Young adults watched their parents drown in 29% APR credit card debt. They wanted something different. But the real accelerant came in 2020. The pandemic shifted the world online overnight. E-commerce jumped 5 years forward in 3 months. Everyone was shopping from home, flush with stimulus money. But psychologically scarred by uncertainty, BNPL was perfectly positioned. The pandemic didn't create the pressure, it revealed it. When rent goes up 20%, but salaries rise 3%, people get desperate. 64% of Americans now live paycheck to paycheck, including six-figure earners in
64?
expensive cities. BNPL didn't create this squeeze, it exploited it. Swedish company Klarna launched.
This is the one. This is a dangerous ass company right here. Every time I go shopping, I see it, and I be like, I wonder if I could build my credit with this. Hey, yo, this is the scary one right here. This is on every payment processor.
2005, but remained small until these forces converged. Then everything changed. In the US alone, BNPL volume exploded from $2 billion in 2019 to $24 billion in 2021, an 1,100% increase.
No, no. It's not about hitting rock bottom. It's stop buying things and getting things that are not necessities. That's the problem. People want to keep up with the Jones instead of going out and buying what they actually need and what matters in their day-to-day life.
In just 2 years, the industry grew 12 times larger. That's not organic growth, that's a gold rush. When you buy now, pay later, you're not the customer, you're the product. BNPL companies are selling more sales, and it's delivered to merchants at 6% premium. The psychology was brilliant. Traditional credit cards remind you of debt with every monthly statement. You see that balance, you feel that weight. BNPL reframed the narrative. This wasn't debt, it was smart budgeting. The numbers prove the psychological shift worked. BNPL increases average order values by 30%. People spend nearly a third more just because they.
That is so true. I also seen this. We watched this video not too long ago. It's on the YouTube channel about how the McDonald's machines that you can order instead of going to the cash register and ordering, the machines sell more on the back end because, or sell more on upsells, and you by clicking certain things, strategically placing them in certain places. But most importantly, because people spend more money when it's not cash, when it's through your credit card, because you feel like you're able to spend more because it's not a physical currency that you hold. Right? If I have $5 in my hands and this thing is 502, I can't buy it because I don't have 2 cents. But when you have a credit card, you feel like you can buy anything because it will allow you to buy even if it goes into overdraft.
Can split the payment. For retailers, the math seems simple. Pay 6% in fees, get 30% more revenue. What could go wrong? Everything. The business model had one fatal flaw. BNPL companies make zero money from consumers who pay on time. No interest, no fees, nothing. Their entire revenue depends on two sources.
I refuse to pay for a paper bag at the grocery
and
store.
late payment penalties. Klarna alone collected $254 million in reminder fees last year. This creates a perverse incentive. BNPL companies
$254 million in a reminder for you to pay your bill. Hey, you remember when you bought them clothes? You remember when you bought that I don't know. Do they even have this for like food? I don't even know if this is on there for food or not. Just to remind you that you bought something on the internet. It's crazy.
Companies need you to use
That's
their
a lot of
service
money.
repeatedly, but they also profit when you fail. They've built a business
Postmates,
model
that's what it
around
is.
that, and the psychology is brilliant. Traditional credit cards remind you of debt with every monthly statement. You see that balance, you feel that weight. With BNPL,
Facts. Go to Olivia. They don't teach us about credit cards in school, right? Same reason why they don't teach you how to about finances and how to invest, because they want you to be financially illiterate so they can continue to profit off of you. And unfortunately, I'm going to speak for my culture. A lot of Black people don't have they don't eat at the dinner table together, and they don't have financial conversations together. And that sets us back so much, because we no longer have conversations amongst the family where we can strategically put ourselves in a financial situation to blossom. The only time we talk is either over a television show, some controversy on the internet, or high and by situations, especially when we get older and we got work that's involved. Let's bring back 2 things that I want to bring back. Having dinner together and a glass of water. All right? Make a glass of water great again. Get rid of them water bottles. Go get you a filter and fill up the water and put it in. Right? You spend a lot of money on bottle of water if you actually think about it.
it's not in debt, it's smart budgeting, right? By 2021, the average BNPL user had accounts with multiple providers. The stage was set for what researchers now call the normalization of continuous debt. But you're not budgeting, you're being programmed. Scientists have scanned people's brains while shopping. When you see a $100 price tag, your brain's pain center, the insula, lights up like you're experiencing physical pain. But show that same brain $25 today, the pain vanishes. BNPL companies literally hack your neurological response to spending. This is called temporal discounting. Your brain treats those 3 future payments like they're someone else's problem. For thousands of years, humans survived by prioritizing immediate needs over future ones.
Make sure we tap on the screen, y'all.
BNPL exploits this ancient wiring. The companies understand this psychology perfectly, reducing payment friction and minimizing checkout anxiety. They're selling psychological permission to overspend. And every company wants in, right? Traditional finance lets you borrow to buy a car. BNPL's innovation was to let you borrow to buy a burrito. Now, you're subscriptionifying your entire life without realizing it. That jacket isn't just a purchase anymore. It's a monthly service. Your whole wardrobe becomes Netflix. Each payment plan adds another recurring charge to your mental load. Now, here's where it gets dark. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau data shows 43% of BNPL users have missed payments. Look around you. Nearly half of everyone using BNPL has already failed to pay on time. 1 in 3 paid late in the past year. Among those who use multiple BNPL services, the rates are even higher. When payments fail, the cascade begins. You miss one $40 payment, the app tries again. Your account overdraws. That's a $35 bank fee plus an $8 BNPL fee.
Them overdrafts, hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I had one overdraft in my whole life. And I ain't gonna lie to you, that shit was $75. I said, hey, yo, this will never happen to me again. Turn that off. If I ain't got it, don't let it go through.
Now you're $83 in the hole from a $40 payment. One small mistake becomes a financial avalanche. When payments fail, the cascade begins. But the real trap is loan stacking. The data is staggering. 60% of BNPL users juggle multiple active payment plans. Nearly a third, 32%, manage 3 or more simultaneously. Different due dates, different amounts. It's a mental juggling act that's designed to fail. The most alarming trend shows how far it got. BNPL for necessities. 1 in 6 users, 16%, now finance food delivery. Klarna's partnership with DoorDash means you.
I was just asking, bro. No way you're using Afterpay for food, bro. You don't just get in the freaking refrigerator or go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, bro. Oh my gosh. If I ain't got it, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm going straight to the noodle pack, bro. Bro, people be forgetting where they came from, bro. Give me that noodle pack on everything I love, bro. Give me that noodle pack, bro. I can make some noodles and some eggs go cray-cray.
You can split a $15 burrito into 4 payments of $3.75. We're microfinancing lunch. When society normalizes splitting the cost of a meal into installments, we've crossed a dangerous line. It's desperation dressed up as convenience. This shift from discretionary to essential spending reveals BNPL's true nature. But who's paying for that? While you're feeling clever about splitting payments, retailers are bleeding money. Every BNPL transaction costs retailers 4 to 8% versus 1.5 to 3% for credit cards. Let me show you exactly what this means. Take a $100 purchase at any store. With a credit card payment, the customer pays $100. The card processor takes a $2.50 fee, so the retailer receives $97.50. With BNPL, the fee is $6, so retailers receive $94. That $3.50 difference per transaction is massive for businesses.
And what's scary is, eventually they're gonna team up and make us start having to pay for that, just like they kind of do with ATM fees. Right? For us to get us some cash, we have to give them some. We have to give them some extra cash, or even when it comes down to cash back, I have to buy something in order to get the cash back. Right now, the retailer is taking the hit for the people being able to use credit card, but eventually, in order for you to use a credit card or a credit card, you will have to pay. The product costs $100. You will now have to pay $102. Or even let's say that's why some of the places like let's say when you go get tags, right? I know for sure when you go get a new ID or something like that, it costs 60. It always say $64 or something like that. But if you use a credit card, you got to pay. It's $4 extra to use a credit card in here. Otherwise, we only accept cash. That's because that office or whatnot is the retailer and it's the processor, right? They have the retail and processor in that establishment. And these online businesses, they're going to eventually work with the credit cards, and we will have to pay that additional cost for us using credit cards.
Is operating on 8 to 10% profit margins, BNPL fees can shrink profitability entirely. But it gets worse. The contracts BNPL providers force on retailers explicitly forbid surcharges for their users. Retailers legally cannot pass these fees to BNPL customers. So what would they do? They would raise prices for everyone. What if BNPL added to retail prices across the board? Cash customers are subsidizing BNPL users' shopping habits, but payment delays compound the damage. Credit card processors deposit funds within 24 to 48 hours. BNPL companies promise 3 to 5 business days, but frequently take longer. For small businesses managing tight cash flows, those delays can mean
with these stipulations and delays and stuff like that. I'm surprised a lot of retailers are still using BNPL. I don't understand why they don't take this off. Because at the end of the day, they have the right to put what processes or payment processes that you can use on their site. So what is the benefit of them using this buy now, pay later system besides them selling more? I guess the benefit would be they selling more because of the customer not having the funds to buy their product. So we're going to sell more, but we'll take more of a hit because more people are inclined to selling because them not having the money. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But at the end of the day, at what point do you say, okay, okay, I'd rather take away the customer that can't afford this. But that means in order for us to get more of a price margin on the product that we're selling, we have to up the price to afford the lower client bases, the lower clients that we have to buy the product. At this lower price, we can go ahead, take more of a hit, but we're going to sell more product because of the BNPL. Damn, this breakdown is crazy.
Missing payroll or supplier payments. The Australian market gives us a preview of the coming collapse. When OpenPay failed in February 2023, they left behind $18.2 million in operating losses. Merchants who thought they'd been paid, they weren't. The money?
No. They will sell less to sell more. You have BNPL, right? Because more people can't afford their product. To mark up prices, that means you will take away BNPL. So take away the people that can't afford the product. We mark up the price of the product so we can still make a good margin on the people that are able to pay, the less client bases that are able to pay.
Was gone. Laybuy's bankruptcy was even worse. 4,200 merchants
I get what I mean?
766,000 customers left scrambling. One craft store owner reported losing $790 on just one transaction. Multiply that across thousands of businesses. Kiwi Bank's $30 million exposure to Laybuy sent shockwaves through the financial system. This wasn't some small startup failing. This was systemic risk becoming reality. Unlike credit card processors backed by major banks with FDIC insurance and reserve requirements, BNPL companies offer zero merchant protection. When they fail, merchants eat the losses. And it's not hard to see why they're failing. Here's the dirty secret of BNPL. They lose money on every single transaction. Not sometimes, not on risky customers, every single transaction.
How are they
Let me show you the math that's killing these companies. Klarna, the industry's largest player, just posted these numbers. Q1 2024 revenue of $621 million, but losses of $99 million. That more than doubled from last year. Their workforce has been slashed from 5,000 to 3,500 employees, with plans to cut down to 2,000 using AI. Their CEO admitted they need to fire 60% of their workforce just to approach profitability. That's not optimization, that's desperation. But
They'll
here's why
use
it's
you until they don't
mathematically
need you no more.
impossible for them to succeed. On a typical $100 BNPL transaction, they collect a $6 merchant fee. After paying 50 cents in processing costs, $1.50 for customer service, $2.40 for fraud and defaults at their 2.4% rate, and $2 for technology and overhead, they're left with a net loss of 40 cents. These businesses are money incinerators. The funding structure makes it even worse. BNPL companies borrow from institutional investors at 5 to 7% interest, then lend to consumers at 0%. During the easy money era, investors tolerated these losses because they believed in growth. But
they lose all this money, but they make majority of their money from users that are that are not paying their debt. So you can sit here and say, yeah, I'm losing a lot of money, but if I know they're banking, all these companies are banking on people not paying on time or ever. So they're going to win off of the interest.
rising interest rates changed everything. Borrowing at 7% to lend at 0% while eating 2.4% in defaults isn't a business model, it's a death spiral. The default rates hide an ugly truth. BNPL companies tout 2 to 3% default rates, but look closer. These are measured on 6 to 8 week loans. If annualized, that would be catastrophic. Automatic payments mask true delinquency until users' bank accounts run dry. Users who can't pay get blocked from future purchases, creating hidden defaults. So much so, it started to be noticed. Without interest income to offset losses, BNPL companies have only one option: grow or die. But growth is expensive. Customer acquisition costs run $25 to $40 per user. With average transactions of $135, they need multiple purchases just to break even on acquiring you. The death spiral has begun. To grow, they must approve more risky customers. More risky customers means higher defaults. Higher defaults mean bigger losses. Bigger losses mean more desperate measures. We've seen this movie before. Subprime mortgages in 2008. Payday loans. The pattern never changes. Easy credit, explosive growth, sudden collapse. The free-for-all is over. Regulators have finally woken up to what BNPL really is: credit, and they're bringing the hammer down. But first, understand this. BNPL companies structured their products to dodge the 1968 Truth in Lending Act by keeping loans under certain thresholds. Credit cards must disclose all costs up front. BNPL, they found the loophole. Less protection for you, more flexibility for them. That loophole is closing. 2024 marked the turning point. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau ruled BNPL must follow the same rules as credit cards. Full disclosure of all fees and terms, standardized cost comparisons, dispute resolution processes, refund protections. For companies already losing money on every transaction, these compliance costs, estimated at $2 to $3 per transaction, are devastating. The crackdown is global. The UK now requires mandatory affordability checks before approval. Australia has fully integrated BNPL into their national credit code. The EU's Consumer Credit Directive now covers all BNPL services. The regulatory arbitrage that lets BNPL companies operate in the shadows, gone. Banks smell blood in the water. They're moving in for the kill. Chase launched My Chase Plan, BNPL using existing credit lines. American Express created Planet. Citi rolled out FlexPay. Apple tried Apple Pay Later, failed, then partnered with Affirm. The bank's advantages are crushing. They have millions of existing customers
about to get some of that money too.
At near zero from depositors. They operate with diversified revenue streams, decades of regulatory compliance, and actually profitable business models. Industry consolidation is accelerating exactly as predicted. Moody's warned, few BNPL companies will remain independent. they're being proven right. Square bought
Yeah.
Afterpay for $29 billion, now worth far less. OpenPay went bankrupt. Lay-by collapsed. Others are desperately seeking buyers. The survivors are abandoning the pay-in-4 model entirely. Klarna pushes 6 to 24-month loans with interests. They're becoming exactly what they claimed to replace. But if consumer BNPL fails, what about B2B BNPL? Businesses are now using buy now, pay later for inventory, equipment, even payroll. The volume is staggering, expected to hit $669 billion by 2029. But when a consumer misses a payment on sneakers, they lose shoes. When a business can't pay for inventory it already sold, entire supply chains collapse. Imagine a retailer using BNPL to stock inventory, selling it, then the BNPL company fails before paying the supplier. The supplier doesn't get paid, the retailer can't restock, customers can't buy. One BNPL failure could freeze entire industries. Within 24 months, the BNPL landscape will be unrecognizable. The survivors will be indistinguishable from the credit card companies they claim to disrupt. The revolution is over. Traditional credit won.
Yeah.
Someone has to pay for all those split
this gets
payments.
deep, chat.
The question is, who? When a BNPL company fails, here's what happens. Option 1, retailers eat the loss. This is what happened with OpenPay, Lay-by, and Genoa Pay. Retailers who thought they'd been paid discovered the money never arrived. $18.2 million in losses, 4,200 businesses affected, zero recourse. Unlike credit card processors backed by banks with FDIC insurance, BNPL companies offer no merchant protection. When they fail, retailers simply don't get paid for products already delivered. Option 2, debt gets sold to collections. The BNPL company's remaining assets, including your payment obligations, get sold to debt collectors for pennies on the dollar. You still owe the money, but now to aggressive collection agencies who add fees and damage credit scores. This is already happening. Failed BNPL companies' loan portfolios are being packaged and sold to the highest bidder. Option 3, banks absorb and transform them.
Hey, and them collections,
Square bought
man.
Afterpay. Banks are
Ain't
launching
nothing to
their
play
own
with.
versions. When traditional finance absorbs BNPL, they add what was always missing: interest rates. Your pay-in-4 becomes a credit card with extra steps. Same debt, new packaging, higher costs. Option 4, emergency bailouts. When Kiwi Bank faced $30 million in exposure from Lay-by's collapse, it revealed the systemic risk. If enough retailers and banks are exposed, governments might intervene to prevent broader economic damage. But bailouts mean taxpayers foot the bill, your tax dollars cleaning up venture capital's mess. BNPL was never sustainable. It was a venture capital experiment in human psychology, subsidized by billions in investment money. For 5 years, investors paid for your split payments, hoping to find profitability that doesn't exist. Now, the bill comes due, and everyone pays. Retailers, through losses and fees. Consumers, through higher prices and collapsed services. Taxpayers, through potential bailouts. Investors, through worthless equity. The party's over. Traditional credit won. Or will this morph into a new kind of product we're not seeing coming? If you're interested in how...
With this video, right, they spoke a lot about how the business is gonna explode, but he didn't. He softly talked about the financial crisis of the people and how this is affecting them and how this is affecting credit score. Because if it's this bad for the company, I can only imagine what's the average credit score of the average American. If 46 of the people are using this, and one in every third are late on payment when using it. We're in a scary time where people need more money. They need to be paid better. But at the end of the day, Probably won't happen because we're asking for more pay while our jobs continue to be taken from us. And it's only going to get worse. I advise everybody to start investing something every month. I don't care what it is. Go back to elementary school, get out that piece of paper, map out your financial plan, map out your expenses, figure out what you can invest monthly, saving up something to invest monthly. All right. Because it's gonna get to a point in time where something's gonna happen. And if you don't have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up, you potentially can be in a very bad situation in life. And that's what I was always told is save save and invest until you at least have 3 to 6 months of expenses. Um, but yeah, y'all, be careful with these BNPLs. I say stop buying things that you can't afford, and if anything, use credit cards instead of the buy now pay later option. If you have to, I suggest you stay away from all. Only use credit cards that in a way to benefit you, cash back, travel, and to increase uh, your credit score. All right. See y'all in the next video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, but most importantly, share it to a friend. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.